Here we go again, watching the campaigns. Campaigns promising to fix the things that we cry for. Every party at one time or another has promised affordable housing, more doctors, and healthcare for less waiting times, and even tax relief. Yet, we still have all of those problems. But here's something to consider. When we talk about higher taxes, the happiest people are in Finland, Denmark, and Sweden. Countries with far higher taxes and government spending than we have. They work fewer hours and get taxed more. And yet they enjoy generous social programs with real safety nets. We need to not only wake up, but become more aware of what is happening and take action instead of voting and then complaining. It's time to stop blaming the parties, the Prime Minister, and worse, fighting amongst ourselves. Honestly, it doesn't matter who's in power. We are the ones letting them abuse our power and keep us in the dark. Our democracy is like a masquerade ball, pretty on the outside, but rigged behind the curtain. Let's tear off the mask. First, let's talk about how the system works, so we know what we need to change. We talk about Ottawa like it's some mystical cloud of red tape. It's not. It's a building full of people that we elect, we pay, and forget to hold accountable. There are 444 people ruling Canada. 338 elected members of Parliament are MPs, including the Prime Minister. 105 appointed senators, unelected, unaccountable, and in power until they're 75 years of age. And one governor of the Bank of Canada, unelected, appointed by 30 or 40 members of the cabinet, and completely independent of public control. That's it. 444 people making decisions for all of Canada. You and I don't pass the bills. The 338 MPs do. We don't write the budget. The finance minister does. We don't revise or delay legislation. The Senate does. We don't decide interest rates. Tiff McClem, the governor of Bank of Canada, does. He holds the pen that controls your mortgage, your rent, your groceries, your debt. The Bank of Canada can print money, tighten credit, or loosen it. And yet, it answers to no one. Not you, not me. We don't sign trade deals, cut oil pipelines, or decide on fighter jets. The government does. We blame the system, but it's we who let them build it that way. We blame inflation, but they printed the money. We blamed the housing crisis, but they zoned the land. Let foreign investors buy entire neighborhoods and let developers write the laws. We say the healthcare system is underfunded, but no one asks why we spend more per capita than any other country for less care. They pass the bills, they approve the spending, they sign the deals, they run the country. Heck, sometimes we don't even blame the government. We blame the immigrants, saying that they're taking our jobs, driving up housing, changing the culture. But here's the truth. Immigrants don't write the policies. They don't set the interest rates. They don't sign real estate investment treaties. They don't hand out corporate subsidies. They don't delay infrastructure or hoard land for speculation. They come here for the same reason most of our families once did, for a better shot at life. If housing is unaffordable, it's not because of immigration. It's because of zoning, speculation, and politicians who refuse to build. If the system feels stretched, maybe because it's those at the top are stretching it. They promised clean water to First Nations. They promised to lower taxes to families. They promised action on climate. They promised affordable housing, and yet it's still not really affordable. They blame the economy. They blame the provinces. They blame history. They blame each other, and nothing changes. We act like the system is broken, but maybe this is the system. Maybe what we're living through is not dysfunction. Maybe it's by design. Because if housing is unaffordable, healthcare is backlogged, food prices are insane, and billion-dollar companies are making record profits, then we have to ask, who's losing? Who's winning? This isn't about liberals, conservatives, or the NDP. This is no longer about the parties. This is you and me versus a political class that's forgotten who it works for. If the tax system is a mess, it's because they want it that way. If Canadians are choosing between groceries and rent, it's because they're okay with that. If our national debt is ballooning, it's because they decided to borrow and spend without a plan. In a free democracy, the only people with power are the ones we've given the power to. And the only ones that can take it back is us. Let's stop punching down and start looking up. Because the people pulling the strings aren't arriving on planes. They're sitting in Parliament. The government is so far out of touch with the average Canadian, it's not even funny. They keep saying they speak for us, but they have no clue how we're actually living. Imagine if our MPs lived like us for just 1 week, like Undercover Boss. It would be an eye-opener for anyone making over 6 figures. They've divided us, left and right, east and west, French and English, rural and urban, while they're quick to vote themselves raises and pensions that we'll never see. But I'm done being divided. I want a mailed referendum for every bill being discussed, for every citizen. Each MP can collect them from their areas. We'll get to see them passed quickly because they don't have to spend hours discussing them. We want to see the budget, and what's actually a priority by our majority referendum votes. Let's start with clean drinking water, life or death for some people. We need to heal and clean up our own country before we help others. I was just a shy girl raised in the prairies. Nobody special. But if you have to call me anyone, call me the first prism warrior. And whomever is with me, standing together as the human race, proud of our differences, united by something greater, hope, fairness, and fire. We don't rise to divide. We rise to remember our strength from coast to coast, from every background. We stand as one Canadian people, not pawns in their game. I'm gathering the tribes, the Celtic tribes, the Norse descendants, the First Nations, the Chinese, the Japanese, South Asians, Africans and Caribbean communities, the Métis, the immigrants, the settlers, the farmers, the students, the workers, the retirees, all of us. We just need to remember who holds the pen, because it's not Carney, it's not Polyev, and it's not Singh. It's us. Here's the truth. We need to hold that pen again. We need to have our own platform, Prism Warriors. We need to vote on every bill and law that is passed, not just the few. They work for us. We decide on the paychecks. We decide where that money goes. And let's remember that. There are 444 people running the country and 40 million of us. Let's stand together for once and fight against the oligarchy that rules over us. There are only 444 people running the country. There are 40 million of us. Let's stand together for once and fight against the oligarchy that rules over us instead of representing us. Stay tuned, and I'll tell you how you can help change the system too.